In this episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, I sit down with Michael from Spyglass Games to talk all about their new expansion, VENOM Assault, Villians Valor, that's on Kickstarter. It's an exciting one. But first, a message about our sponsors. This episode is being sponsored by Overbattle, the All War. The only true 4X game that's also a war game that doesn't take forever to set up. It'll be on Kickstarter through the 20th of April. More to be said during Kickstarter Corner. You like games? Check. You like manga? Check. You like the 80's? Check. You're going to love this next sponsor. Double check. This episode is sponsored by Robotech Crisis Point. It's up for pre-order. Get some awesome exclusives by pre-ordering it today. In case you missed it, go give my interview with Dave, the designer and publisher, a listen by searching for Robotech Crisis Point on my website, GameReliefGo.com. Then pre-order soon, because when they run out of exclusives, they run out. This episode is powered by Shard Hunters, the card game. It'll be on Kickstarter through the 10th of May. Find out more during Kickstarter Corner. Last but not least, this episode is powered by Hachu Games and their game Plunderbun, the back alley business board game. If you didn't catch the coolness in their company name, I clearly can't do it justice, so go give my interview entitled Plunderbun and Pickles a listen, and then back Plunderbun before Saturday the 20th of April.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
The year is now 2065. Freedom Squadron and the Global Operations Force are the best hope for defeating Venom once and for all. Just when the world believed they had succeeded, Venom has reappeared stronger than ever to prove evil never dies. This time, Venom is not alone because Chameleon's criminal organization, the Terrornauts, have roared onto the scene, bringing a new kind of warfare to the battle. To fight back, Freedom Squadrons unleash their own batch of reformed elite soldiers, the Carnage Corps. These elite members have been handpicked by Corporal Carnage and reformed in his Carnage Dome to be the best of the best, steeped in the importance of teamwork to bolster the greater good. Now enhanced on both sides, the battle has truly become more epic between Freedom Squadron and Venom.
Did that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me either, but this is the story of VENOM Assault, Villians Valor, that's currently on Kickstarter, and tonight we're lucky enough to have on the creator mastermind behind this game. Is that correct? Is that how you fall in line with VENOM Assault, Michael?
That's correct.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no problem at all. Now, before we get into your game, let's rewind a little bit if we could. How did you get into playing tabletop board games?
I was about 30 years ago. I had just moved to Denver, Colorado, and we were at a store, and somebody had a game they put down and said, hey, do you want to play this? And it was Puerto Rico. We sat down, we played it, and I pretty much fell in love with board games right then and there, and it's just been, ever since I've been looking at new games, buying them, playing everything I can get my hands on. So,
well, there you have it. Awesome. And so I imagine you have quite a collection if it's been 30 years.
Yes, I've pared it down over the years, but at one point it was over 400 games.
Oh, wow. And I imagine you'd played them all before you started paring down or not?
Oh, yeah. A lot of them I pared down mainly because it's just there were certain games that weren't getting to the table, and I didn't want them just sitting on the shelf, so I started giving them out to other gamers who were new and just kind of donate them to say, hey, this is a game, check it out, see what you like. Just get more people in the hobby.
Oh, there's a way to do it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. And you said Puerto Rico, that's what you said was the first game that got you in?
Puerto Rico was the very first game.
Awesome. And then what are you playing these days?
Oh, these days we play a lot of Lords of Waterdeep, hits the table a lot, Betrayal Legacy, Pandemic, Shadows over Brimstone, Imperial Assault, just anything, and a lot of new Kickstarter games. we got like Gloom of Killenforth. We got the new one, Black Rose Wars, just came in. Land, Sea, and Air. Just anything that looks fun, we'll just grab and play and see how it goes. And if we don't like it, we hand it off to someone who might.
Well, there you go. Awesome. Yeah, there's so many games out there. Speaking of Kickstarter, you talked of games on Kickstarter. Is there anything exciting that you've backed recently or that you're waiting on to be delivered?
Yes, actually, we just ended up backing Ignite. It's another local designer from Denver. It looked fabulous. We saw it come up. We backed it. Wanted to play it. We also were waiting on Wild Ascent, Lords of Helios to come in eventually. I think that's the main ones. Everything else I think I've gotten in so far, but those are the newest ones I've gotten. Like Ignite was the newest one I just backed. So
I want to say I saw that one. I want to say I maybe even backed it. I don't know. It was a little while back?
yeah, it just ended probably about a week or so ago. It was a tactical miniature arena type game with cards you play, and there's a village you're kind of defending. So it looked really cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I saw it on there. I don't remember. There's so many games on Kickstarter. Speaking of all the games on Kickstarter, word on the street is you currently have one there as well. What can you tell us about VENOM Assault, Villains and Valor?
Well, it is currently live. It is the actual Villians Valor is the expansion, the first expansion to VENOM Assault, which is a deck building card game with dice-based combat mechanics, and it's cooperative. We put that out about 2016. It sold out within a year. So we're bringing out a second print run with the expansion. The expansion adds in a new mechanic we call teamwork, and it enhances the cooperative gameplay and really ties it together more by allowing people to play cards outside of their turn to help the active player accomplish a goal or fight. It's been said that it's a lot like Marvel Legendary, where you're collecting heroes to your hand and you're fighting certain overlords or villains on the board. In this case, there's usually 7 different Venom leaders on the board, all different powers. It is mission-based, so there are 13 different missions in the base game. The expansion adds 3 new ones, and every mission is different. It adds new mechanics, changes how it plays. People who've played it have really just fallen in love with it. It's very much an homage to 80's cartoons like G.I. Joe and the action heroes from that time frame.
Yeah, I was going to say that because I watched the video and stuff, and yeah, it reminds me of it.
Yeah, it's kind of our love letter to G.I. Joe, sort of.
Well, there you go. Awesome. It's so cool. And you did all that in a deck builder?
Yes. Yeah, so the deck building it's all about recruiting soldiers and vehicles into your hand, playing them out, and you actually will build a combat team. You'll have one card will be your leader, and every other card will support that card, and every card that supports will have a different effect that applies to the leader or to the overall combat. And when you go into battle against the AI also gains its own support soldiers and vehicles that will alter combat back in their favor or undo what you've done. So you've really got to kind of plan ahead.
Oh, okay. And then is it always, you talked about co-op. Is it always co-op, or can I ever be the Venom or bad guys?
Right now, it's always co-op. You're just Freedom Squadron. There are some missions in the game that are not cooperative. They actually change that aspect where you're actually working against each other in some way. Like you're trying to prevent other players from getting ahead so you can actually be the one who wins.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, because at our family, they're okay and everything, but we much prefer where we can go head to head.
Yeah, this one is pretty much just a cooperative game right off the board. There will be expansions later on that will change that to where you actually will be able to play Venom and play against other players.
Oh, cool. But either way, it looks like a really cool game, and that's one of my favorite.
Thank you.
No problem. And that's one of my favorite mechanics is the deck building.
Yeah, it was easy for our first game design. It was easy to get to design it. We've played a lot of deck builders, so it was a good entry game for us to sink our teeth into for designing. So
most definitely, that's awesome. Now, per se, me and you sat down to play VENOM Assault, Villains and Valor. What's my turn going to look like?
So on your turn, you will always draw 5 cards in your hand. You start with, like most deck builders, a basic hand of recruits and commandos. They'll give you recruitment points to purchase with and combat value to fight. You will play out 5 cards. You'll recruit from the recruitment deck, which is usually going to be newer, more powerful soldiers and vehicles. Once you've done that, or if you don't want to, you can go right into combat, and you enter what's called the tactical phase. You select a Venom leader from the ones on the board to fight. You will lay out your leader, choose your cards of support. You'll apply all the effects by putting your dice on the cards as it says. Like the leader will get cards for their combat. Supporting vehicle cards may give them more dice. They may affect the Venom leader themselves later in the combat round. Once you've applied all your bonuses and you're set up, you go into the combat phase where the Venom leader is now going to do the same thing. They're going to draw their own support cards. They're going to gain some advantages. Their health and defense will increase. Health is the number of successes you need. Defense is the target number you need. And that can range anywhere from 1 to 8. And the Venom support cards they get may increase that. They may take dice away from you. They may make you reroll dice. You may have to lose certain cards out of your hand, but you can also remove cards from them. So it's a little bit of give and take. And when all of it's done, you'll roll your dice and you'll see if you've met the required successes and defense number. And if you do, you claim the leader plus a reward card. If you don't, your turn's lost, and you will go ahead and end your turn, reset new cards out, and it'll pass to the next player. With Villains and Valor, the new aspect we've added in is teamwork, where another player can actively assist you on your turn now by playing a teamwork card out of their hand to give you additional benefits and bolster your hand against the Venom leaders.
Okay, interesting. Now, imagine an expansion has to have be play tested just as much as the game, or how does that go down?
Oh yeah. It had to be play tested. Actually, it had to be play tested more thoroughly than the base game, because we had to make sure that what we were adding in was going to mesh with the current cards that existed and not break anything overly, that break or unbalance something in a way that we're like, okay, this doesn't really work. So it got tested quite heavily and put through its steps, and it actually came out really well. And it's balanced. We've played with a number of people. We did a live playthrough recently, and everyone just loved how much it affected the game and how drastically they said it changed the feel of the game for them.
Well, that's good to hear. During that playtesting process, what did you have to? Was there anything you ever had to scrap because it just wouldn't work for it?
Oh yeah. There were a couple abilities on cards we just had to completely remove because they just completely broke certain aspects of the game that we weren't expecting it to. Them in combination with other cards was just insanely runaway. So like, okay, that's got to go out. We had some abilities where we were trying to give a character too many powers. We had to back those off a little bit, and we got a good balance. In the end, we decided that every card should have a teamwork ability and a non-teamwork ability. So if a player doesn't want to be cooperative, they don't have to be. They don't have to use that card to assist other players. They can use it to assist themselves like they normally would. And it worked out really well.
Is that what they call multi-use cards?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I kind of like that. I haven't necessarily played anything. I want to say it's in what is it in one of the games we have on the shelf here, Western Legends maybe, but I haven't been able to crack, or I think I heard it was in that maybe.
Western Legends is a good game.
Cool. Does it use a mechanic? Does it have the multi-use cards or?
No, it really doesn't. I'm trying to think what might be a good multi-use card game.
I want to say there was a Western game out there that did that, but I don't know. I don't remember.
Maybe Doomtown or Doomtown Reloaded may have done that.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Okay, interesting. But yeah, that seems like a pretty cool thing. So was there a game when it came to Venom and Assault? Was there a game or inspiration behind it?
Yeah, actually, we played a lot of deck builders. We played Dominion. We played DC Heroes, Marvel Legendary, that whole Legendary series, Aliens, Big Trouble in China, and we liked them. But like in Marvel Legendary, it was the characters seemed very not unique. There was like you just collected one superhero. Like I'm just getting Spider-Man, and that's all you're doing. And eventually got to the point where it was just one player could run away with the game, and we're like, well, this is neat, but how would we change this? So we actually sat down one night and we're just designing our own game to play and do improvements to over what we did like in like Dominion or Legendary, and kind of merged them. And we ended up making Venom Assault, and we kind of showed some friends, and they're like, this is really cool. You should do something with this. And that's kind of where it went from. So we started showing it around, and more people liked it a lot. So that's how it got its start, really.
Awesome. Yeah, and the art looks amazing. Who did you get to do the art for it?
So the original art was done by Phil Cho. He has done a lot of work for DC Comics. He was joined by a couple other artists, Alex Rios and want to say Robert Okato, I believe I say his last name right. They're all comic book artists. They've worked together in the industry, so they had that very much cartoon comic book feel we were going for, and they really captured it well, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd say so, especially like the 80's cartoon that you talked to, 80's cartoon homage that you talked of. So that's awesome. Now, and it looks like Michael Wright, what did he think about it? From Unfiltered Gamer.
Oh, Michael Wright, he loved it. He got a chance to play the base game, and then he played the base game, liked it a lot. And then he added in Villains Valor. He just raved about it. He said it totally changed the game. It enhanced it. The new missions were a lot of fun. The new missions, he said, really add new aspects. But he said the main thing was that new teamwork just makes the game completely cooperative and really everyone's staying engaged on their turn. No one can just kind of tune out. They've got to be paying attention to what everyone else is doing while they're playing now. So he said it really kept people involved and he liked it a lot.
Cool, awesome. Now, when it comes to Villains and Valor or Venom Assault period, what makes your game pop as one my audience should go check out the Kickstarter, and if they like what they see, back it?
I'd say the main thing that makes it pop, and it'd be mainly what you're interested in. If you like deck builders, definitely go check it out. It's a very strong deck builder. If you have a nostalgia feel for the old 80s cartoons, the artwork is really going to capture it. And the storyline in the game itself is really strong. It actually has an RPG based off of it already out called Freedom Squadron that was published last year, actually, by Evil Beagle Games for Savage Worlds. So it's got a lot of tie-in, and again, like, another thing I say is it adds dice-based combat to a deck builder, which has not really been done before. So it kind of has a lot of different things in there that people can get a hold of.
Okay, awesome. And per se, somebody is new to the whole world and everything in the game. Is there a way they can get the base game? Because imagine you can't just play with the expansion.
Right, you cannot. So you'd actually would want to get the base game, and if you go on our Kickstarter right now, you can pick up just the base game if you just want to see what the game's about and kind of play it. Or you can actually pick up it and the expansion for one price, which is going to end up being lower than if you buy them both in retail later on. And it's an even, yeah. So that is your best bet. Is if you want to get in, hop over and you can pick up what we call the Carnage Core level, which gives you the base game and the expansion for $75 shipped. And anything we unlock stretch goals are included right in there. The other big thing is there is a promo card that is going to be in here that this is the only place you're going to get it from is the expansion. And once it's gone, it's not going to get reprinted. So
what's so cool about the promo card?
The promo card is it's called Walker. It was a card that was created specifically for the RPG, added in, and it is probably one of the more powerful cards in the game that you can obtain. It actually it's a 3-use card. No other card in the game has 3 uses. It has 3 different abilities that it can apply all in each of the phases by itself. So it's a very good card. We've had people who have gone out of their way to they're like, well, there's only 2 copies in the entire deck, and they're like, well, I want more, and I'm like, 2 is all you get. So yeah, so it's only going to be in Villains and Valor, and people really have enjoyed it.
And speaking of, you mentioned RPG or whatnot, so there's an RPG based in the same world as well?
Yep, it's called Freedom Squadron. It actually came out last year. I actually helped the creator of that. He's from Evil Beagle Games. They played the base game, the board game, and they fell in love with it. They tracked us down and said, hey, we want to make an RPG on this. And I kind of helped them take the world we created and expand it even larger. And a lot of what you see in the expansion is tying into the world they helped expand. So there's a lot more backstory and history, and there's new event cards that tell more stories. So it really is got very large. There's a sanctioned play group that runs organized adventures for that game and everything. So
cool. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. Yeah, you sold me, so that's awesome. Now, yeah, so I'll make sure I leave all the links in the show notes so people can easily click on over so they can check it out. And it looks like it'll be on Kickstarter through, let's see, I just saw a date a minute ago.
May 1st.
Through the 1st of May, so they got a little bit of time, about 2 weeks to go to check it out, and then we got to get to that goal, and imagine once we get to that funding goal, there's going to be some stretch goals to go along with it.
Oh, absolutely. There are right now we have 4 different stretch goals listed on the Kickstarter. Which every stretch goal we add in, we believe in with Spyglass Games is that it needs to add content or it needs to upgrade the base components of a game to make them better, stronger. With deck builders, you shuffle a lot, so we're increasing the GSM of the cards to make them more sturdy. You're going to get your first goal. Every stretch goal we have right now adds in 10 new cards to the deck. So as we go through those, you're going to get more cards in there.
Okay, awesome. Why not put those in the front? It just straight into the game at the first.
Initially, right now the game is pretty much balanced where it is. It's really good. It works well. We've got the stretch goals were cards that we had created that were like, okay, they're nice. They don't have to be in there, but if people can unlock them, they're going to add a new level in there. For a lot of it is going to be like you get into the occult, you get into psionic powers, you get into like high tech stuff. So it was just some neat cards we had that we kind of designed, and they didn't really seem to fit in easily in the base expansion. So we decided stretch goals. If they get in, we can add them in. People can have them. And they're going to do all kinds of different things when we start to get out there to reveal those. And beyond those, we have even more. We've actually got one of the stretch goals not yet revealed is going to be a campaign mode that will go into the game where people can actually play a series of missions that, depending if they win or lose, will dictate the next mission you play, and it will change what cards you're allowed to use or not use in the game.
Well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, so it was asked for by people, and we kind of got it in there. So it's one of those little things. We've mentioned a couple of the live playthroughs we talked about, how it's going to work. So that's another one out there that will just add more content and change things around for people. We really want the game to be dynamic, so it's never the same thing again and again and again. It's always kind of changing by what you're adding or taking out.
Oh, good. So there's a lot of replayability then?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so in the base game, you've got 12 different missions that you can play through. There's 3 new ones in the main game or the expansion. And we've got a variable event deck that you can, randomly build, which will change the game every time you play. I think there's over 30 different Venom leaders now that you'll be able to add in, and they're randomly drawn out. So they always interact differently with each other, with the mission, with the characters you're playing. So the base mechanics will stay the same, but each game will vary greatly in what you've seen before is combinations of characters you're playing versus what you're fighting on the board. So it's always kind of fresh and new.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, it's good to be able to get that game to the table more often than not, and not be bored if you get it there more than once. So that's cool.
Right? Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's got $75 more than it did when we first started our interview. So that's good. Now, are people going to be charged shipping straight away or later on after the campaign finishes?
Shipping's going to be charged after the campaign, and the main reason being is Kickstarter is still to the point where they count shipping towards your actual funding goal. And if they didn't do that, we would just put it in. But the fact that they do, we have to take it out and charge it after. The other thing is we're constantly working with different freight forwarders and shippers to get the best price. And we always try to keep it low. So the big thing with shipping, and for people that may not know, is it's always changing. So it may be cheaper down the road. It may be a different price. So we always kind of try and lock it in at the best price we can get for people.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I've heard that it can eat creators alive, shipping if they don't do it right.
It can. It is a dangerous thing that can really hurt if you're not careful.
Well, there you go. So that's good to do that afterwards. So that's awesome. Now, somebody goes ahead and backs it, so you don't overpromise and underdeliver. When would they anticipate getting either the base game or the expansion so they can start their own assault on Venom?
So we're going to offer we can do 2-wave shipping if somebody really wants, but right now we're going to say that we've got the delivery date, I want to say in September, but we're pretty sure we're going to deliver way sooner than that. The expansion is 100% done. The base game is 100% done. The only thing that would be added in that would delay this is going to be stretch goal cards, just because we need to have the art done, which doesn't take long. The big one is going to be the steel level backer option we have, which lets people actually create a character or card in the game in their own image.
And will that be in the game for everybody or just for them?
for everybody. We did it in the first game, and we ended up getting 20 new cards in the game just from people who got that level. There are presently 7 left for just the Villains and Valor set, and there are 11 left for the actual main set. So we've got about 30 total that people can get in. And these are only going to delay us for a couple weeks. So as right now, if we were to fund today, the game would probably be delivered by July easily. And that would be a combo shipping of both the base game and the expansion, which is going to be cheaper shipping for everybody. But if somebody really wants the base game first, we'll have that option where they can split the shipping to get the base game first and the expansion when it comes out later.
Oh, okay, there you have it. And so, yeah, if you're listening right now and you like what you heard, make sure you go ahead and click on over and check out the whole campaign. Watch the video if you want to get a little bit of nostalgia going on, and it sounds like there's quite a bit of that in the game as well. So that's awesome. And we'll make sure we leave all the links in the show notes. I know right now we're focused on getting VENOM Assault, Villains and Valor, the expansion funded on Kickstarter, but for the future on down the road, somebody's listening later on after the Kickstarter campaign is done and whatnot. Any secrets you might be working on for the future?
Oh, yes, we actually have several games coming out. We've actually got 2 series of games we're working on. We're got one that we're calling the Saturday Morning Action Hour, which is where VENOM Assault is in part of. The next game coming out for that is going to be Phantoms of Manhattan, where you are going to be part of an elite team who is going around Manhattan trying to capture various ghosts and ghouls and other creatures, which might sound familiar. After that one is Masters of Eternity. And then the third one in that series is going to be the Rise of the Battle for Metalon, where you actually will be able to play the giant transforming robots we introduced in VENOM Assault called the Robotrons.
And what about the one in between? Is that homage to He-Man?
Yeah, Masters of Eternity, it will be joining the most powerful man in the world. And that will be a non-cooperative game where you actually will form teams to play against other teams, good and evil. And that's just the first 3 in that series. There's going to be several more coming after that. So,
oh man, why you gotta go and do that? So is that what Spyglass Games is all about? People who like the 80s and 90s cartoons?
One half of the branch of us is for that, yeah. They'll be able to come get the old 80s cartoons. The other games we're bringing out are more non 80s themed. We got the game calling out called The Haunting of Chumbaro House, where you actually are playing a ghost in-house who are trying to scare people out of it. There's the Hunting Sasquatch, which is a tongue-in-cheek pressure-luck dice roller. The Runes of Adventure, where it is a dungeon crawler in a city. So we have another branch of games coming out that's going to be completely different, non-cartoon themed, that we think a lot of people will get into as well for different tastes. So definitely, if you want to follow us, go to our Facebook page, click on that, to our newsletter. We're always kind of posting up little teasers and talking about the different games. One of our big things we like to do is we like to involve our fans and say, hey, we're working on this game. What mechanics would you like to see in this type of game? One of the ones we just posted was our newest one coming, or next one working on is a superhero game for the Prowlers and Paragons setting. And we were asking people, what kind of game would you like to see? What would you want? And we're kind of taking their ideas and designing it off of that. So it gives you an opportunity to really get into the design and say, I think this would be a cool idea, or, kind of throw your own ideas in there and see what those ideas, see what sticks.
Oh, wow, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, we really like talking to the fans and just seeing, because in our opinion it's you guys are the ones buying it and playing it, so we want to make something that you're going to have fun playing,
Well, there you go. Awesome. Yeah, because I've heard often that you can never make a game that everybody's going to appreciate or love.
Oh, never, ever. So, we just, like we tell people, it's like we love hearing your opinions, your feedback, and it may or may not make it in there, but you never know. So put them out there, and we will always listen. We're open to dialogue with people. So, and it's just I really enjoy talking to people and getting into and what they like or don't like about something.
Awesome. So what should we look for next after this one's delivered and everything?
So after this one, the next game is, like I said, it's going to be Phantoms of Manhattan is the next in the series.
Okay.
That will be it's going to be I'm trying to think of it's going to be an adventure game where you're in Manhattan. It is 100% cooperative. You will actually be playing different Phantom detectives in the game. There are 32 different characters in the game.
Oh wow! And is it asymmetric? Everybody has their own powers or something?
Yep, it is. Everyone has a variable. Every character has a variable power and stats. You also have different guns and weapons you're going to be equipping with upgrades. Different suits you can put on. You're going to be traveling around trying to combat various threats on the board and earn money to buy upgrades. And eventually, you're going to solve what is causing these things out, and you'll move on to fight one of the end bosses. And there are at this time there are 37 different bosses that you can in-game bosses you can end up going up against, and they're all different.
Oh wow! Now you got me sold on another game. That's not good.
So yeah, so it's big and it's fun. And after that, we're going to probably put out Hunting Sasquatch, which is another a very light dice rolling family friendly game that we're going to put out. So we've got about 5 lined up, and we're always working on more. So we're gonna and we're probably gonna flop back and forth. We'll probably do one of the cartoon themed games and then a non-cartoon themed game, and kind of go back and forth between the two so we can get everything out people enjoy.
Awesome. And should we look for those other two in 2019 sometime?
2020 would be is going to be when Phantom's probably comes out. There is a chance that Hunting might come out in 2019 because it's 100% done again and ready to go. So it's just we want to get through this first campaign and get it locked away. Yeah, our big thing is we never want to have another Kickstarter going when one is not fulfilled. So once this is delivered, then we'll start talking about when the next one goes live.
Yeah, well, I want to say most recently I saw a post. Somebody posted something about Kickstarter. Might have even made that something you have to do. I haven't read or studied much on it, but I saw something about that recently.
They are trying to because there's been so many people who have fallen into that trap of they put a game up, they make a lot of money, and they spent that money, so they put a second game up to try and get money to pay the first one, and they just keep going, and they fall into a deep dark hole they never get out of.
Oh boy! So Kickstarter working on that then?
Yes, they're definitely working on it because it hurts them as well. And I mean, I've backed. I mean, I think I've backed over 100 and some games myself, and I have never. I think of all the games I've backed, 2 have failed to deliver. Everything else I've gotten. So, I'm not. I know some people are very Kickstarter shy. They worry that why should I back a game when I can just get it later in retail? And I love telling people is you're backing the idea of getting the game out. You're helping the creator make sure it does get to retail. Because if you guys don't back a game, it may never get out. It may never get created. So don't hold your money. If you want it, you like it, pledge now. And the nice thing with Kickstarter is if it doesn't fund, you're not charged. You're not going to lose any money. So there's no reason to hold back. If you want it, just throw in there and get it going.
Yeah, most definitely. And they if they're new to Kickstarter, nothing will be charged until the campaign finishes or whatnot as well.
Exactly. Yes, and you can always cancel anytime. But I see a lot of people who are like, "Well, I'm going to wait and see where it goes." Well, don't wait. Put your money in there and help it get there, help it fund. Because once a game funds on Kickstarter, that's when the fun stuff happens. That's when we start unlocking stretch goals. That's when we start adding more content. The game gets bigger and bigger and better for everybody. You just got to get to that point. So.
Yeah, most definitely. And like I said, we'll make sure we leave the links and everything in the show notes. So minus coming there to your hometown to Colorado, I think you said, to stalk you. How would people go about keeping up with you and what you have going on over at Spyglass Games?
So you can go to spyglassgames.com. You can click on our mailing list to join it. We send out usually once a month, just a kind of a letter, a little brief email, a letter of what's going on. The best thing to do is go over to Facebook and go to Spyglass Games and like our page and follow us. We're always posting stuff on social media on there about upcoming games, where we're going to be at conventions, what we're going to be demoing. Next year, we're going to be hitting up a lot of the main conventions, PAX East or PAX Unplugged, Origins, Gen Con, Board Game Geek, and we'll be demoing a lot of our new games there. So if you want to see what we've got in person, come to those cons, sit down, play with us, or just like the main thing is follow our Facebook page. That's everything we're going to put out is going to be right there. So
awesome. And like you said before, it looks like they can just go ahead and right from the Facebook page, they can join your mailing list as well.
Yep, you can join right from there. We will be eventually doing some contest giveaways on our Facebook page as well. So, hop over there, check it out, see what's going on.
Okay, awesome. And if you give me the links, I'll make sure I leave those all in the show notes. But yeah, we don't want to keep you all night. It sounds like you got more stuff to design and whatnot. But we really appreciate you coming on, getting geeky with Game Relief with us to talk all about VENOM Assault, Villains and Valor, as well as the whole Saturday morning cartoon thing that's kind of got me geeking out.
Well, thank you. I had a great time. I love talking to people, reviewers, podcasters. You guys are really, you're the unspoken hero, the unsung heroes of this whole industry, by the way. You guys give so much to designers, and we like giving back to you guys. So,
Well, thanks a lot. We appreciate it.
thank you. You're very welcome. You have a great evening.
You too. Thank you, sir. Wow, I love talking to Michael. I'm excited about both VENOM Assault, the new expansion in the new game, as well as his upcoming games. I'm going to make sure that I follow along on his newsletter. You should do the same too, and if you like the game, go ahead and back it.
What is this place? What is it doing here in the Leaves computer? Oh, it's Kickstarter Corner with the Leaves.
Calais, Roman Knucklebones, metal coins, and 2 games in one? You saw this on Kickstarter last week? Right, I did too. It was less than $400 away from reaching its goal. Not to fret, it's back and better than ever. Already reached its funding goal and surpassed it, in fact. Calais is the Roman version of Knucklebones, featuring the tactical feel of stimulated bones. So very close to the stretch goals too. Go back it before Friday the 19th of April. Tell them Gamer Leaf sent you in the comments. Plus, over on thegiveawaygeek.com, they're doing a giveaway. Overbattle, the All War, is still on Kickstarter. It needs you, it needs me. You like war games, but the setup is too long? Well, not with Overbattle. That's actually part of the play. Want to know more? So did I. So I sat down with Rob for a little heart-to-heart. Go give it a listen in their Kickstarter update entitled Quick Update on the Video and a Personal Podcast Intro. Listening on the go and can't click straight over? Not to worry, engrave this in your brain and remember to check out overbattle.com, which is the easiest way to get there. And make sure you and a friend back it before Saturday the 20th of April so we can make it a reality. Your kids are losing way too many dice. Plus, you want to be the coolest one on the block when it comes to rolling and storing your dice? Then you're going to need the Nomad's Magnetic Dice Tower by Master Monk. It's a magnetic dice tower featuring handcrafted inlays and a unique design that works with the Nomad's armory. It folds down nicely and is held together by earth magnets. The audio alone just doesn't cut it. I'd encourage you to jump on over and check out their Kickstarter page as well as giving my interview with the creator to listen. Find it in my episode entitled Be the Coolest One on the Block with the Nomad's Magnetic Dice Tower, or find it in their update entitled Interview with Gamer Leaf and our next live stream this Saturday. Shard Hunters, the card game. We teased about this during the sponsor spot of the show. It's simple and dynamic gameplay, exclusive artwork, love dark fantasy games but don't have much time? Then this 20-minute game is for you. Some things about the game: actions happen simultaneously, no handicap for new players, no stealing, no player elimination, and monster cards are completely language independent. Plus, the art is amazing. Jump on over and check out their Kickstarter campaign and back it before Friday the 10th of May. If I got asked who's your favorite designer that if you could, you'd want all their games, that's easy. Hands down, I'd say Ta Te Woo. He's back. This time, it's a game that uses my favorite mechanics of deck building in Promenade, the game of impressionist art. in which you become the most prestigious painting collector in a 2 to 4 player economic deck building game of impressionistic art. Players are art collectors, and the goal is to manipulate marketing value by acquiring and exhibiting impressionistic paintings. Players receive points by exhibiting paintings from their hand and additional points from the paintings and gold in their collection at the end of the game. When the game ends, the player with the most victory points wins the game. Go check it out and back the Kickstarter before Sunday, May 12th. Plus, you can go and search on my website for Promenade, and you should be able to find the episode that way. You enter the unknown dungeon as the hunter. Turn by turn, the dungeon reveals itself to your party. You must adapt to your strategy. Choose when to forge ahead or when to step back and regroup. The dungeon can be unforgiving, and even in competitive play, you might find it necessary to forge alliances to survive. Your team makes noise as they explore. The more noise they make, the more they risk awakening the dark evil that lurks within. Soon you realize that you have become the hunted. Sound familiar? Not my fault. You missed the Dungeons of Infinity on Kickstarter? Yes, that was my fault. Well, I'm here to mend my mistakes, to let you know we're not too late. If you missed the campaign, don't dismay. Click the link in my show notes to show your support and not have to be worried if it won't reach its funding goal, because it's already been done for you on the Kickstarter. Dungeons of Infinity is a board game for 1 to 5 players set in a mythical kingdom ruled by King Armiger. His land is full of dungeons built in the distant past. He recruits teams of heroes to delve into many dungeons to free the land from the evils that lie within. Head on over and make your pledge today by clicking the link in the show notes before you miss it yet again. But this time, it won't be my fault. You know I love myself a good deck builder, don't you? And who doesn't love saying, Hachoo? Put them both together and you've got Hachoo Games' latest game, Plunderbund, the back alley business board game. It's got a bit of everything to keep you on your toes. Deck building, worker placement, and area of control strategy in a high fantasy Prohibition-era world. It's got 2 to 5 players, stunning art. You want to find out more? Then you're going to definitely want to tune into my episode called Plunder, Bun, and Pickles. And then make sure that you go ahead and jump on over and back their campaign before Saturday the 20th of April. Vikings Jarl is back on Kickstarter. It's a fast-moving historical strategy game about Vikings and Norse mythology. Pillage, trade, conquer, and claim the throne. Sam Healy of the Dice Tower had it as number 9 of his most anticipated games for 2018. As a player, you begin the game as one of the 4 Jarls or siblings, with the goal of becoming the next ruler of Kopang. You accomplish this by pillaging, trading, and establishing settlements, fighting, and outmaneuvering your siblings. Did we say backstabbing? Through strategic card play and dice rolls, the Jarls battle each other across the game board. You must make strategic decisions and carefully manage your resources in order to get the most victory points, to have the best chance to win. If you play well and use your sagas wisely and even receive some favors from the gods, perhaps you will become the next Viking Jarl. Let's relieve Sam Healy's anxieties and get this game funded on Kickstarter. You can help by sharing it and backing it before Thursday, the 18th of April. Truth be told, I always wanted to grow a mullet, but anytime I grow my hair out, it goes straight up into a fro instead of a mullet. I love the 80's too, so imagine my geeking out when I found Moles with Mullets, a card game, on Kickstarter. It's a fun 80's music themed card game, but with moles, for up to 4 players. Their goals not outlandish, and if you ever wondered what it was like to be a mole in the 1900s in a rock band, You're not going to want to miss Moles with Mullets. Check out their campaign and back it before Friday the 17th of May like I did. Well, it's our least favorite time and your least favorite time too. So, before next time, I hope you'll get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others into Geekfold by sharing this podcast with them. And if you're a backer of our Kickstarter campaign, be on the lookout for our backer surveys that will be going out really soon. Anyways, Gamer Leaf out.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.